So
Yeah,
I
you're good.
can't see
You're
you guys.
just one of the blocks on the bottom, so you're good.
Okay, perfect. All right, everyone can see it. So the whole point of this is standing out, which, as you will come to find, is one of the easiest hacks to grow any business. And I'm not the only one that knows this, but I'll go ahead and explain. You'll see why. So a little bit about me. Basically, on not that long ago, I mean, I think this happened about 4 or 5 years ago. I had already kind of made it, at least in the monetary sense, had success. I was rolling in dough. I was working in China. I mean, my last period of time, I raised almost $1.5 million for this development that we were going on. I had buddies in China, buddies in States. Everything was going great. We had property developments, and this was all with business partners, by the way, that I'd made in China. So, we were all buddies, and all the buddies we were bringing into the circles, they all had money, and it was just this giant like snowball effect. So we had these properties in Beverly Hills, Bel Air, up in Oregon. We even had like this 48 unit lot. Like these were huge things. And I was like, I think I'm going to get a few electric cars. And my friends were like, you're not fucking going to do that. So I did it. And so I had 3 electric cars, all matching orange. Each one had a different race stripe color, and all the rims were different colors. They all had custom plates too. One was like oil LOL. One was like oil sucks. And then the other one's IH8 oil. Oh, it was amazing. It was so much fun. Anyways, so the short of it is I lost it all. My partner shut me out of the accounts about 2 years into the project. I was paying for all the costs of the business, and I was covering one of my buddies that was a business partner there. He had had an older success from the '07 market crash. And so he ended up filing bankruptcy on me too, as well as 2 projects, which was run by one manager, shut me out, and I lost 360K 1 month, gone. So I filed bankruptcy, and I lost everything tangible was gone except for like the clothes on my back, and I got a camera with like the last little bit of money I had. And so the reason why I did that was because at the end, when something fucking huge hits you right in the gut, like it was everything, everywhere, all at once, which is a good movie, by the way, but this wasn't quite that same experience. I was presented with 2 options because one side of my family is a bunch of lawyers and doctors, and they just were like, what the fuck is the matter with you? You chase them down, you collect that money, you do whatever you got to do. It's your money. And yet every fiber in my body was like, I think there's a lesson somewhere in here, and it could be something as simple as an expensive lesson, but a good opportunity to pivot and try something else. I don't have those golden handcuffs because, to be honest, real estate's not that much fun. I came into it with a background in environmental studies, and so like gray water systems, and because I had started a nonprofit previously to this, and it was really successful. So whether it was gray water or different variations of different variations of alternative energy generation for the home or heat management. I mean, these were really interesting to me. No one gave a fuck. No one at all, even though we were working at this high tier price point. And, maybe I was just too young at the time, but it wasn't satisfying. So, fast forward a few years, I instead decided to go travel the world on like a shoestring budget, obviously, trading videos for the ability to stay in a shack, in Bolivia or Peru or something like that. And it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. I learned shooting, I learned editing. And then the year following that, I started communities on everything from Tribe to Mighty Networks. Oh my God, it was so frustrating. Every time it happened, I went all in. I invited everyone in. I invited beta clients and my friends and my ex-girlfriends. I was like, look, it's going to work this time. And it never did. It never fucking worked. It was absolutely depressing. So by the end of it, you'd think that I would just give up and start going more the other direction, but no, I'm fucking stubborn. I don't know why, but I just kept going. And so I realized at the beginning of this year that it was time for a change. Like I had to do a change. There was something like I had done a lot of changes in my past, but this was the first time that I was doing a change like all at once. For example, if you're looking at this list, keto, cold showers, meeting the right people, working out, like I had done those things at various times in my past, but usually I was a lot more nonchalant about it. I was just kind of cruising through life. I was an easygoing guy. And that had a strength and a weakness to it. And the weakness was that if I wasn't doing it intentionally, simultaneously, like not all at once, but like slowly stacking them so that they were sustainable, you didn't really see those effects. And so on January 1st, I started doing keto. 1 month later, I started working out. 2 weeks after that, I started doing cold showers. But the entire time, I started hiring, like seriously hiring coaches with all the money that I had. I think I spent like 9 or 10 grand on hiring coaches. And I already knew all this stuff, but I needed someone to help me put it together because I'd done it like over and over again for, years at this point. And that brings me to school. That's when I found school. Thanks to Bon, who's on this call right now, I found Contentpreneurs. So, Ted, everyone here knows Ted. And he taught me about offer masking, which was the hack. That was the thing that I needed, because one thing I didn't mention was out of college, I had started a lot of companies and most of them had failed. This one in China, the real estate thing worked, at the beginning. But the interesting thing was that I was very successful with a web design company. It was the first, college for me was pretty useless. But afterwards I was motivated in my one of my first companies. It may have been, no, it was my second, was web design. And I still have clients from back then, and they pay me beans as whatever. It's a passive thing, but it reminds me of this time that I had the luxury and the freedom to learn something that was creative digitally. It was kind of my first introduction to that. It was slow growth to the digital space, but I was always a creative, and learning to be a creative going to business was a challenge. So what Ted told me in our very first call together, I bought a one-on-one from him for $250. And we hung out for an hour, and he was just like totally stoic. I was like, what the fuck am I even doing here? This guy just looks like, I don't know if he's going to be able to actually hack it for me. And I just had no faith at all, but I did it. And he said, well, hey, what about the website thing? Because I mentioned it. And so he pulled up my website and he said, dude, this is fucking incredible. I've never seen a site like this. Who did you have build this? I was like, no, I built it. It's like, maybe you should look at that. Why aren't you doing that? I said, it's kind of boring. It makes a little bit of money, but it's boring. And he said, that's kind of how it happens sometimes. When you find a certain degree of success with your business, sometimes the best thing you could have is a boring business because it works. And things aren't exciting always when they work. So I took a revisit to it because it looked like I had something the whole time. And in digging through it and talking back and forth with Ted, I was like, what would if I was doing it for you, what would you think? He's like, yeah, I would love to have something like that. What would it look like? And I realized that at the end of the day, when you're doing online business, and this was my breakthrough moment into this entire world of what Captivate is built on, the website side comes down to two things. It comes down to a website that is sexy and like a really nice business card that's like, wow, look at all the authority and prestige these guys have. And the other kind is a funnel, which is simple, to the point, nothing fancy. It's just, here's your call to action. And the funnel system was the challenge. So I had to go through and learn, so what would it look like to make Ted a client and to build his funnels, but not shitty? Because at the time, he had shitty funnels. I don't know if you've seen them, but they were shitty. And in 2 weeks, I learned software that could do this. I built a software that could do this, and I recruited Bon, who's, like I said, here on this call, and said, drop everything you're fucking doing. I think I've got something here. And he's like, okay. And so that brought us to the school games. Fast forward a few weeks, and everything's moving really quick. All these things, like the iceberg at the top, it looks like they just were an overnight success, but really, we were like a 10-year overnight success. All of these things finally started coming together. I started aggregating this really killer offer. I wasn't just giving websites anymore. I was multiplying how much income you could make from your online business. I was contacting everyone like before, ex-girlfriends, old Tinder connections, my family, my friends, my dad still to this day is like, no, I don't trust you anymore with money. So, that hurt, but that's how it works sometimes. I made the offer 1K in value. And I said to all of these people, like, hey, if you don't need what I have here, how can I give you $1,000 of value? How can I do that? And that was the conversation. And I said, if I couldn't do that, just show me how. And so I kept pushing that, and it was working. I threw everything I had at it, and it was like chewing glass. And then I asked for one thing in return on top of the 1K. I said, all right, if I'm going to do this for you, the one thing I would ask is that you sign up on April 1st, the moment that I call you and text you, because I had an idea. And the idea had to do with the presentation that I'm sure most of us have seen here for the school games. All the big wigs at top, Hormozy, Sam and Curbinator, they all get together and they watch. We all watch the screen together. All 10,000 or whatever of us were on that last call. And for 1 hour, we just watched the leaderboard slowly tick up. And it happened 2 times at that point. This was the third. So I said on April 1st, I want to try something. I have an idea. And then all I would have to worry about is delivering on all that stuff. So I'd probably need a team at some point. And then if that worked, I could probably just talk about what a ridiculous strategy it was, and that could feed something. And it did work. And we shot up to the top of the leaderboards in 1 hour, less than an hour, 8 grand in the pocket. And Curbinator, Sam, and Alex were all like, what the hell is going on? Sam and Alex said nothing. They said nothing, but Curbinator was like, I want to find out more about this situation. And that was exactly what we were trying to do. And overnight, it just blew up. We are currently in 5th place. We've made 17K right off the bat. And we have clients ranging from, you will notice here, it says 100 to 150K per month. That is not, how you're reading it is not right. It's $100 to 150K per month. We have a client that's doing 150K per month, and we have a client that's doing $100 a month. That is who this satisfies. And I'll get more into this later, but this is the range of people that we have suddenly gotten access to. And that includes contentpreneurs. Ted and his entire system now is being transferred over, and we're almost done with the full transfer onto our software. And the interesting thing is, coming back to what we were talking about at the beginning, is what we're doing is not new. There's nothing new about what we're doing. We have maybe like a new-ish software, but it's built on Go High Level, which has been around forever. So why are people buying from us? Well, the reason is because we're doing it differently. We stand out. There's an element of fun and playfulness and we don't give a fuck attitude, which is just like inherent with me and my friends. You'll see it with me and Bon all the time. And none of us enjoyed the funnel system making process. Like, it sucked. And we were thinking, why would we make it any more miserable than it has to be? So the question is, how do we do that? How did we bring it from where it was to now? How did we do the standing out piece? And it was basically, well, I'll go over it here, but the idea was, if I can do it, anyone can do it, using leverage, just simply leverage, and with no following, which to this point, to this day, to this very day, we have never made an advertisement. I mean, we will in the future, certainly, but we haven't made an advertisement. We have not reached out to anyone on social media. And like, I've made no post, even today, I just haven't had time. And there's been no raspberry lemonade. I don't know if you guys saw that post, but we haven't had that yet. I'm working on it though. So this kind of brings us to this point of blending in, because blending in is the opposite of standing out. And it's important to know that, because it's a lot easier to do and arguably a lot safer. There's less risk involved with blending in. And the idea behind blending in is that because you're sort of choosing between expression and freedom, or safety and security, I mean, those are kind of the backbone decisions that a person can have sort of in their life. There's a beauty to blending in, certainly, but it depends on what you're trying to do. You can't necessarily choose both. And especially with your business, if you're trying to find a niche, you probably want to find a niche in every capacity that you possibly can, which means you probably want to stand out. So if they're colorful, be black. But most of the time, that's not the case. Most of the time, they are black and gray. So be pink and yellow. And the risk, what is that exactly? Well, it's basically vulnerability. There is a part of yourself that you have to show that you usually only hold on to for like family and friends. Maybe not even family. Maybe it's just friends, or maybe it's not friends. It's hard. It's hard to be able to put something out there. It's like you farted in the room and you have to, like, what part of society is like, well, I know it's natural and everyone does it, but like, I can't let anyone know that it happened right now, right? Like, everyone else does that. I can't do it either. That vulnerability, it's built, like, whether it's wherever it comes from society or family or all the above, whatever, it's there and it's hard to break through. Otherwise, this would be easy. So let me tell you a quick story about in one situation, what it's like. And I think a lot of us can relate to this, because there's an elegance, there's a simplicity in wearing all black, and there's nothing wrong with it. But the sacrifice is significant. And I'll tell you what I mean. When you're fitting in, when you're wearing black, when you're doing that, there is an entire, we'll say, lifestyle. Stick with me for a second. There's an entire philosophy that would go around that. You're literally deciding on a few things that you want maybe to blend in, maybe not to stand out for lots of reasons, and to make sure that you are accepted. I mean, we're all kind of looking for acceptance. Somewhere, if you look in your reasons why you might wear black one day, that might be one of the reasons. You look classy and you'll be accepted. But what's interesting is that if you imagine running into your soulmate on the street and you're wearing all black, super cool outfit, but all black. The way that I've always liked to look at it is that if you run into your soulmate on the street and you pass by each other and you were in all black, sometimes the most wonderful people and the most wonderful conversations that I have had, I don't know about you, but for me, we're always like, hey, I like your hair. I like that necklace that you're wearing. What a cool shirt. I love the bananas that you have. That's so interesting. And if you don't have something that stands out, that conversation never happened, which meant that life trajectory never happened. And almost always when you have something that stands out, whether it's your business, it doesn't have to be you, but your team, your presentation, any of it. If you have something that stands out, it gives you the opportunity to change your life's trajectory, or in this case, your business trajectory. And that takes us to this next point. A lot of times you'll think, this is a really tough thing. There's a lot of elements to this. What if I do this? What'll happen if I do that? No. You wear the fucking banana shirt. That's it. That's all you do. And you practice, because the first day you wear the banana shirt, like I'm in the Czech Republic right now. These people are stiff. They're like one step from Russian. And when you walk, you get looks. In this outfit, if I'm wearing like the matching shorts too, you get looks. But no one's really, I mean, maybe if you're like over 80, it's kind of like they're so confused, they're angry. But most of the time, you get people that are just curious. They're fascinated. They're having conversations about it. Because of this, like how stuck in a box could you be because someone in a particular color is with a different light spectrum on it is walking past? It's interesting, isn't it? So, sure, at the end of the day, what I'm basically arguing is you're embracing the individuality. That's what a lot of the vulnerability and elements come down to. But what that really, like if you really boil that down into an actionable thing, what you're doing is you're becoming memorable. You are, with less effort, literally, in a more authentic way, ideally, becoming more memorable. You want to be that person that you entered the room and you left and you maybe didn't talk to anybody, but they were like, who the fuck was that person? You don't have to be that person, but your business sure as hell should be. Absolutely. Because if you weren't noticed in a room full of people that had the same business as you, well, what chance do you have? Even if your offer is better, your price is lower, your people are wiser. If you don't stand out, the conversation never happened. And so how do I know all this? Because you have never seen a presentation this shitty. Have you seen all the colors? Nothing matched. Nothing was the same. And that's intentional. Because when you break the cycle of like your average traditional things, you find yourself in a situation where the sheer audacity of something that's different is what makes it beautiful. It's what makes it stand in your head. It's what makes you think of so many brands. And that takes me back to that earlier part of the conversation I was telling you about, where, when Ted helped me find my offer, it's somewhere in websites, I think. It was interesting that after the offer, and I'll mention this again here in a second, after the offer, you find that there's a very complicated part where it's all of this shit. It's emails and it's funnels and it's websites and graphic design. God, the list just goes on and on. It's hard, really hard. And I realized that there was an opportunity there because it sucked. Fucking sucked. And I was like, if I could learn how to make this less shitty for other people, maybe this thing that's really hard for me could actually become really easy for other people, or easier, and that could actually be my process, which is that Marcus Aurelius quote. So I thought the offer was hard, but I was wrong. It was everything that was after that. And like I said, if I could solve that, if I could really solve the tough part after someone had an offer, you could literally democratize entrepreneurship, right? Like that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, is that possible? Like what stops someone from going up and going online? If you know what you want, and if you're able to make content, what stops that? Well, the answer is, for almost everyone, probably 90%, is everything in between. All the junk, all that stuff that's really hard, that funnel system stuff. And So as you saw, it worked. It worked too well. We had to start limiting it because literally that offer, like what we do, building that whole middle part, it takes a lot of work. Like even though we know how to do it backwards and forwards, there's a lot of time and energy that goes into that whole thing. And so this is where I tell you why. Because this service, you will never really see this service if you're just working on your offer and stuff. You never will see this because it's not designed for people that are at their offer or lead magnet or maybe even making content and don't have a system yet. Because it's fucking expensive. It takes so much time and so much energy and so much labor and experience that by the time you're done with all of that, you've had 12 failures, 5 years of delay, and maybe 3 children. That's going to slow some stuff down, you know? That pain, like I started feeling a lot of that, not the kids part, but you know, everything else was really tough. And so that's why this system is literally tens of thousands of dollars usually. And I get it now. But I don't think I would have had it any other way because this was how we stood out from the craziness and from the sheer deliciousness of the offer. And you know, whether it was funnel system, lead magnets to content, like all of it, it was all just in one place. So we came up with a system to bring all the costs down to $1,000 a month per client. And even though it was, you know, it's more expensive than that, if 10 people sign up, it doesn't cost 10 grand to do that work. It costs more than that. But you know, we put it into a system where it's like, but we only win, like it's a subscription. We're only winning, like we break even after like 3 months of working with you, probably longer, like a minimum of 3 months. So that means you sure as hell better be seeing some value come out of that. Otherwise, you lost and we lost. So it's stupid if we don't know what we're doing and we're not able to teach you how to do what we know how to do. So we often have found that because the caliber of people is not where the price point usually situates them, we teach more than we work. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's interesting to know, just interesting to share. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have those years of fails behind you and you push through all of them, you don't actually understand the value of these silly funnel systems. And the reason is because 90% probably of all online business is the same. You have a different offer, different content, but what do you think's in the middle? It's all the same shit, all of it. And that's the main part that's stopping everything. And that's why I was able to be, you know, replicated more easily, where I could have this weird idea of democratizing entrepreneurship because, well, you know, it's not impossible. It's hard, but it's not impossible. So you take that 90% and you try and repeat it as much as possible. And the reason that I say all of this is because for most of the people in this room, probably, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. And now I know that I didn't know what I didn't know back then. And probably in retrospect, in a couple of years, you'll look back too and be like, wow, I didn't realize that the psychology of people is all the same. That 90% of business, online business that is all the same. It's all the same stuff. It's just got different layers and slightly different offers in it. But at the end of the day, we're all looking for appreciation, a good body, some money, nice partners, good friends. It doesn't change. It's always those things. So people at Ted's level know this value. I mean, Ted was the first one to swipe it up. He was like, yes, give it to me. Absolutely, right now. And that's why we're moving over the whole system. And the last person we just signed up the other day, he's doing well over 150 grand a month. And you know, he did the same thing too. In fact, he didn't even tell us. He didn't tell us that he was signing up. We just had a call with him. It was like, and we thought we were just hanging out and being friends. And then boom, he signed up like a little sneaky person. And so the reason why I say that is because most of us here probably want to be at Ted's level, or you know, any of these people that we're working with. And so that's why I'm literally, and maybe stupidly, I don't know, going to let you know here right now that at the end of April, I mean, our incentive to do this was because I wanted to win this full games. And I knew that I had an offer here that was so good that it could allow me to do that sustainably. Is it the $1,000 price point? No, it's not that. It's not sustainable for me and for my team, because it does cost a lot of money to build this stuff up. But after the win, probably within 1 month, maybe 2, like I'm not looking to just make a killing on every client. I'm not going to make it this high echelon because I remember what it was like. And so the literal reason is we're going all out to get to that point this month. After April, I cannot offer this any longer. So this will not return, and I'm not sure that you're going to see it again. So this offer is not for people that earn under 10K per month. But if you intend to earn 10K per month, you will have to do this at some point. And if you're going to spend that money, spend it on, doesn't have to be us, but spend it on this system, because the rest of it is just you being you. So this is the offer I have for you. Basically, if you sign up today, I've had a handful of people and I that fit so well that I was like, you know what? I think maybe we should just make this standard. And I decided to. For everyone here that signs up in this month, whether it's this weekend, next weekend, whatever, but if it's in April on the $1,000 plan on Captivate Ultra, I will tell you that if you cancel within 30 days, I'll just give you your money back. And that's how about this whole thing, because I know, having seen all of this stuff, having been all around it, my team as well, that you'll see the value in it, because right now you don't know what you don't know. And if you do know, then you know. And that's why you know that this offer kills. So the reason why I say that is if you join in the free group, which this is not, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat after this. I can't see you guys now, but I'll go ahead and copy it and put it in the chat. Just put in the this password, Taco Bud, baby. And we'll make sure that you get that 30-day money back offer. Because if you're serious about doing this business, and I'm serious about these businesses working, like I said, I was in this position too for a long fucking time. And I wish I had someone that could just like slap me in the face and say, come on, let's do this. It's simpler than you think. It's just in a direction you're not looking. I would really, really have appreciated something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat. Oh, also, I have one last slide for everybody. Thank you. It's this beautiful, stupid little gift that Bond made for us. It's like the heart and the essence of everything like Captivate, because it's just ridiculous. It's like a bunch of really awful gifts put together in one gift with like our pictures, and I look like a horrifying nightmare. But the point is, we're just having fun, and that's what you guys should be doing too, if you get the opportunity. So here's the link. This is the Ultra plan. You'll see in the About section when you scroll to the bottom that there should be a link that takes you to the free one. Sign up there. But if you're ever going to make the upgrade, do it before April. Otherwise, it's going to be gone. Okay, that's all I had to say. So please, if you have questions, fucking throw them at me. I would love to hear anything that you guys have. Janelle, I'm going to start with you. You were the first one that came into the room, and I loved your blouse. I would love to hear what you have to say. Anything, an idea, a statement, hit me.
Is my microphone on? Can you hear me?
It is. Yeah. I heard you cough at one point too. I was like, okay, I think that's Janelle. I hear.
Sorry, I was trying to turn off my microphone. This is a different format than any other like Google Meet I've been on. But anyway,
you're welcome.
You're talking about offering all the tech stack, all the headache part of being an entrepreneur. You're talking about building that. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've already got stuff. I've been in business for a while. I'm making $5K a month, and tech has been a huge headache. So this is really a great offer. I'm thinking, wow, what if when I talk to Ted's team tomorrow for their advanced program or whatever, the VIP weekend, what if we just come up with something brand new? Then I might just go for $1,000. I would be so happy to do that, because it's taken me so many years to build what I have. And even then, if you don't have great help, it isn't working correctly. So,
yeah,
so you're doing all the CRM, website, or landing page.
Yeah.
The whole
Yeah,
schmear.
that's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the whole shebang. And anything that's shitty is what we do. for better or worse. It's literally everything from the offer after, except for the content. The content we teach. There's like a bell curve that I usually describe, where the middle is like the complicated system stuff, all that junk. You've got the offer here, and hopefully content or ads at the end that are fueling this funnel. And the $1,000 subscription is that we take care of that junk, but instead of just giving it to you and then saying, okay, bye, we help smooth the integration of that into your content or ads and into your offer. So you make sure your copy is good and it's exactly for your target audience. And you make sure that everything that comes from your advertising or your content is designed as something that's like delicious and satiating to your target audience to jump into your funnel.
You do that too. That's the teaching part. You then teach
Correct,
me how to make every offer a really sexy offer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's great. That's a great value.
Thanks, Janelle.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's one of those things that clearly you've already found success with what you're doing, and so I know the pains of, it's like it's I know the pains of having so many things strewn out all over the place, and we've actually been talking about that with Ted a lot, because it's looking like in the near future, it's not, we haven't gone through all the details yet, but it's looking like they're going to start using our software for all of that, because right now it's a bunch of softwares and we just have one. So you sign into one thing, whether it's ads or CRM or scheduling your social media posts in one thing. And they're like, well, it's hard to beat that. It would be nice to take that, like any part of that system, and make it slightly more smooth.
Yeah, 100%. This is massive.
Thanks a lot, Janelle. I appreciate that question. Does anyone else have a little something? Tiffany, I see you're on here. I think, if I understand correctly, I think you won something today. Is that right?
Winner, chicken dinner.
Amazing, man. How does it feel?
I'm still like processing, and even just, yeah, I when I joined Captivate, I immediately, I just fell in love with your authentic nature. I was like, Goose is definitely my flavor. So that, I mean, and I think when that, I just saw you being you, and it affirmed that I just needed to be me. And
Yeah.
when I started this journey, I really was like, I've just got to go all in. I need to be authentic, and I need to just not think about it. I just need to do it. And so I saw this opportunity, and jumping into your group, just saying, hey, I'm going to throw it out here. Here's my vulnerabilities. These are what I'm doing, these things. I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And like Marcin, he was so kind enough to critique my landing page. And I mean, I wouldn't know if I didn't put it out there. Right. And just for me, it was just like, I'm just going to utilize this because its community is just so amazing. Ask for feedback. This is the place, right? I'm with like-minded people. We're all trying to do it. So, hey, what do you think? I want to hear. And so putting it out there, I never anticipated that I would win anything about it. It was more about, I have something that I'm trying to achieve, and I'm leaning on a community that understands what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah, totally. You honor me and flatter me every time you talk. I love listening to you go on and on. You're amazing, man. And for all those that don't know, Tiffany won today our software free for a year. She was our first member to put up her vulnerable win. And so she's the one that got that.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to see where that goes.
And it was interesting because I rate it and I'm like, okay, so yeah. And it was like, yeah, I got to have video proof. And I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
My very first YouTube video, that's video proof.
Yeah, I mean, but dude, you have no idea what a big win that is. Like, Ted talks about this a lot, actually. The difference of helping someone earn their first dollar versus their first $10,000 is huge. Like that's really, really tough. And so that's why it's so difficult to help someone that hasn't really done the thing yet. And so literally the same goes for when you're trying to put yourself out there or do your first YouTube video. I've been there. Fuck, Bond's been there. Probably everyone on the call has been there. Where like, I don't know, but then they might judge me, something like this. And when you cross that line and you realize, okay, well, maybe this isn't so bad. You get a hater here or there, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you slough off, because at the end of the day, that difference, like, it takes a lot of courage to that kind of thing. And I saw what you were doing. It was really impressive what you did. And you were like that was a long video. And I watched the whole fucking thing. And you were just like, this hurt and that hurt. I struggled with this thing and this was a nightmare. I was like, yeah, sweet. And all of the women that were like, whoa, I know that stuff too. You may not know this, but Angela has herself struggled with a disease that just like shows up here and there. And when you get a chance to talk to her, it's so interesting. And Angela is our community manager. And she has struggled with this so like intensely for so long in our life, and it just like shows up out of nowhere and then it's gone. And the amount of people, like after listening to her about that before seeing your video, I realized the number of people that go to a professional and they're like, hey, this is a different color, what's going on? And they're like, we don't know, go home. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what healthcare does sometimes. Like more than you would
Disease
expect.
management.
More than I expect. It was crazy. And so,
Yeah.
it was one of those situations where I was like, yeah, it was really cool that you shared something so vulnerable that everyone in the room was like, yeah, I've been there. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
So you got that started.
Yeah, and I think that for me, it was just, I have this intense need I don't want other women to suffer. I mean, it's just a horrible situation. And, I just think in 11 years of thinking I was sick, 11 years of thinking I was broken. And I can't recapture that 11 years. Right? So if I can help a woman that is in the midst of it not have to go through 11 years, to help her figure, develop that confidence and assertiveness, because it breaks you down. Illness breaks you down. It's mentally exhausting. And if you're going through perimenopause, not only that, you've got hormone fluctuations that are driving you insane, and you start thinking you're a crazy person. And so for me, it was like, hey, this is normal. I can help you through this. And so, yeah, it was just you got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Compelled
And you
to
fucking
do it.
did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so bad. And it was funny. I was able to check, and I had my first I had a thumbs down on my video, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, you did it. That's exactly it. Fuck yeah. That's the goal. You want to get your first thumbs down. That is certifiable, that that's how you know you've done something vulnerable, because it leaves space for someone to disagree with you. That's how you know.
Yeah.
And that is a real victory right there. Yep. I love how you took that. That's exactly how you need to be able to take that.
And it was
Nicely
interesting
done.
because I did my second video and it didn't get very many views, and I'm like, okay, well, it's okay. My third video's got it's doing better, and so I'm like, just keep on going. Then I'm super excited because once I get in, some videos, I'll be able to start seeing some analytics and find what works and what doesn't work, and find my viewers will tell me where I need to go for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you mean. Thank you,
But I'm
Tiffany.
excited
really
about it, and now
you.
I'm like, okay, how do I pull out short form content out of that to be able to increase my exposure?
Yeah. That's where it starts getting tricky. Where does this go? Where does that go on the content side? Which platform? Yeah.
I even thought about just doing little clips, because there's sometimes I have like these moments, and I've thought about just going, hey, yeah. So I was just thinking, this is going through my head, and what about, just like with those random thought things. And so it was like, maybe I'll do that for short form content. And then I'll play around.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's a good problem to have, because it means you get to the point where you can have those kinds of problems, and you can only do that after you've gotten rid of the ones before it. So thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that insight. Thank you for being who you are every fucking day. It's great.
Thank you.
So yeah, of course. So I want to open it up to all the people with their screens off. I want to hear some Q&A. Throw something at me. Like my time this month has been crazy. I never have time to do this. So give me a question that is so freaking fiery that I have to think about it. Sebastian,
okay.
Are you there somewhere?
yeah. I've
you are.
talked to your, I know a moderator of you, and I really thought your offer was, really cool. But the problem that I have is that, I'm not a creator. I've been more like a community manager. I've built a NFT community in the back in the times, I said, and I've many connections to manage and communities, to manage and moderate communities, and I have some capabilities for that. And I was crafting, like an offer. I'm about to do that for people, that are really, I see many people are working hard and struggling. You're also, you may be like worth like $300, $500 an hour, and you're in the community all the time, engaging, commenting. And I see that like 90% of the engagement does not require super expertise. So it's like kind and genuine connection. And if you have like a right management team, it could also do that for you. But the thing is, I would like to work with you, and I also have a little bit of money left, but I don't know how, because that's not like the normal funnel. I could not.
That's true.
But I think it's definitely something that people need to know, because when I say to you, hey man, I got a community manager and five moderators for $500 a month. I mean, that's not expensive to have everything going for a community, and you can lean back. So it's a good offer, but I don't know how to sell it, honestly. At the moment, I'm hitting up some communities, that are not engaged, and I'm just asking and getting some testimonials, making free, these trials, 7-day trials. I try to get in. To
totally
sell them. I do it, and you see after 7 days it's good. So I would like to work with you, but I don't really know how.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, like I was saying earlier, like I know. Well, I'll tell you this first. First, the beautiful part of where you are and your question, because we've all been there, and we'll probably all be there again. Like, I'll be there tomorrow. When I'm working on something and it's right there in front of me, I'm so close that I can't solve it because I'm too close to it. And it almost always takes people next to me to be like, oh yeah, it's a water buffalo. You're just looking at the face, right? And it's this weird kind of situation where, because you're the one that's there in front of it, it literally requires an outside perspective. And when I tell you that 90% of your average online business is the same, it's because, regardless of your offer, I know yours is a unique one. I think because it's in a niche that hasn't yet to be tapped. Like, I haven't seen that offer yet show up on Skool, which is its own, like, you could make a killing in there. You've already made all kinds of friends in there,
you cannot find these guys. I'm putting some videos in where I show that you cannot find someone at Fiverr, and you never know the quality. You don't know anything when you hire just some random guy. So
exactly. And I can tell you firsthand, like, if I knew what you were offering like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I probably would have hired you, because I know how hard it is. Like, we had 8 clients, like, first hour, awesome. And now we have 8 more. And these are big deliveries that we're offering. Of course, I need a community manager, a salesperson. We need a tech person still for Bond on the back end. Like, I needed a team, and I spent like 5 days, which were really important days. Like, we paused sales completely to just build the team and get that running. So I know just within the last week that what you have to offer is delicious. That would be huge.
Sometimes I sometimes it's like, it's like sometimes you're not there at the right moment, but I think there will be some other moments, to be sure. So
I think there's no such thing as coincidence. I think it's great that you were able to be exactly where you are, so that we can be exactly where we are, where we can literally be like, yeah, dude, absolutely. Even though it may not be clear to you, it's probably just like any other business, just your offer is more niche down. So you should have a larger opportunity. Not everyone has that luxury, but we have slightly higher luxuries now because we're in Skool, and it's still like it's just started.
Yeah. So okay.
That's a big deal.
What is your because your time is so valuable, and I have you here. So what would be your suggestion for me to move on?
So are you at the point where you're crafting your offer so that it's irresistible? Is that the point?
Yeah, the offer I already have, like, my presentation looks very shitty. I made it on Miro and putting things in, I'm making this. So my offer is already, it can always be better. Maybe I can show you sometime like a little spreadsheet or something or some 2-minute Miro. So it's not that bad. But the thing is, like, many people struggle with, I think, is like, to get clients, to get in front of people, to get the trust, these kind of things.
Of course. Yeah. Good question. So I will tell you right now that typically, of the offer masking thing, right?
I don't know this term.
It's fine. I'll go ahead and tell you. So the term is offer masking. And what it means is, if I'm selling you freedom, what the fuck does that mean? No one buys freedom. They do buy making more money, getting a fit body, getting pain relief, or better relationships. These are the four things that people mostly buy. 90% of the time or more, that's it. That's all they're going to buy. You're fortunate because you're already, communities is usually about making sure it's a sustainable revenue stream. So that one's a pretty easy connection. You can literally just tie it to money. So you're not there to make it easy to run a community. You're there to help people scale the amount of money that they make while running a community, right? And so
Yes.
you want to think about that, where you're giving them what they want. You're selling what they want, but you give them what they need. What they need is a team, but they're not buying a team. They're buying more money for their community. So you want to just think like that. Same system as like taking a step back from what you're looking at and looking at it as your client. And if you can phrase your offer as make this much money in this amount of time without the sacrifice, those three things, then you're ready. That's your offer. And so you want to make a list of about 3 to 5 of those, and you're good. We can sit down. In fact, Bond, could you please put a link to a call with you or I or both of us if we're free, and if you have that list of 5, we can get you started on that for sure.
Yes, would be awesome. Just to
Cool,
have a
man.
little outside perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. And it's so nice to finally hear your damn voice. I feel like I've just seen.
I'm just having a shitty headphone. Where 1 second. I just
You're
show myself because I'm wearing like this. No, oh no, wrong. So here.
It's okay. Most of the time, I'm not wearing pants. I literally just pull this out of bed and then I put that on, and then I'm just doing my thing. There you are. Look at it,
I'm just having the headphone here. Yeah.
dude. I love the headphones. I love that blue color.
Yeah,
It looks awesome.
they're
It's
pretty
nice to
broken.
finally.
That's why.
Are they?
That's why. Yeah.
All right, but they work, so that's it. As
Mm.
long as you've got something that works with this bare functionality, it'll get you there. That's something I was literally just talking to Ted about yesterday, and I think I'm going to keep knocking on that door. There's phases in life that you go through where you're like, the tech matters. It doesn't matter. There's like maybe to a certain point, like an iPhone is better than like a flip phone, sure. But at that point and on, you're fine. Any camera.
Yeah,
will do.
the lights are like $20 or something. That's
There you go. See,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
it's like
Maybe this room was like $10. I don't know.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was
Cool,
nice
man.
to talk.
I hope.
Okay.
Yeah, likewise. So your homework is to make a list of 3 to 5 of those. Do you remember the 3?
Tell me again, please. I'm confused. So
Well, I'm assuming that you're in the money niche, so it's going to be make this much money, right?
mhm.
In this much time, without this sacrifice.
And the money could be also the money I'm saving, because the main reason is that people can step back, that your time is very valuable, like $300 an hour. And if you could free that up, you could spend it on more important things. So
Correct.
it's also like making money. It's like saving money. Is this the same? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, normally people don't buy saving time, oddly
Yeah.
enough. They will buy making more money, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that whole like spend money, make money idea. Yep. There you go. Bond.
Mhm.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I try to frame that the way so that they make money. It's better.
Yep. So we're going to use that cookie cutter starter. Make this much money, or whatever the desire is. So here's the desire in this much time without this sacrifice, and you're going to do 5 of those.
It's like in the Alex Hormozy book, right?
Yeah, he did. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, all business is 90% the same. That's why
Yeah.
anyone
Okay,
like Alex
okay.
or the rest
Yeah,
are all
okay.
there, is because there's nothing new. It's just what part of it do you need next?
Okay. Awesome.
Sweet, man. All
Okay,
right.
good,
The
Ryan.
link should be there, so I think you're good.
Okay, cool.
Great, man. All right. Someone got another question? Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you too.
We have 8 more minutes, and after the 8, I gotta cut it. I got another busy afternoon, but I'm happy to answer. Tom Zid, what's up, my man? Hit me.
Yeah, so
No.
yeah, today I just talked to Jeff, and if he could answer, it could be more like he already knows. Like, hey, Jeff, could you answer? Like,
Sorry, one more time. I couldn't quite get that.
I was asking if Jeff could answer. Like I talked to him before, so he knows a little bit more. Like if he has the time to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And who was it that you were talking with?
Jeff, like Jeff Phone, how would you
Oh
pronounce
yeah,
Hey, yeah,
In
it
the,
was
in the
me.
last call.
We were talking earlier today. So he's referring
Nice.
to that.
Okay. Cool. I'm like, who's Jeff? You mean Bon?
Someone called him Jeff, so I thought his name was Jeff.
Yeah. I know. I'm just playing. The nickname that we use is Bon for him.
Yeah, so my question was, let's say I do target market research on some people and I find that all of them are teenagers who can't afford what I will be selling. So my question is,
Mhm.
would I try to find a different group of people who can afford it, or in that same niche, or just drop the offer and look for a new offer?
Good question. That's a very good question. So what Tamzin was saying there was, if the people that he's reaching out to about his offer cannot afford his offer, should he change the offer or change the people? And there really isn't a single answer to that question. The reason why it's tough is because you're sort of in the creative phase. So I might recommend trying both. Be flexible with the offer, especially at the beginning, because you want to make sure it's something that is solid. It's both super desirable and super deliverable, something that you can achieve. So I would recommend being able to look for one other place that you can find people who have a slightly higher budget, and also find a smaller version of your offer that you can give to people with less money. And coincidentally, this is literally how you make low ticket, high ticket, is what you're talking about, which is a great option because it means that you've expanded your reach to more individuals within your niche. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, it does.
Cool. Awesome. That was a great question, Tamzin. Your questions are getting better and better, man, every time. Hey, Chris, I saw you raise your hand and you put it down a second. I'm going to call you out here, man. You're going to be our last question, I think. I know your mic's off, but you're probably not in the bathroom. I saw you walking around.
Yo, dude.
What's
thank
up,
you.
man? It's
Love your
weird
energy.
seeing you without. Thanks, dude. It's weird seeing you without your red background. I'm so used to it. Every time I was like, oh, it's Chris. It's Chris. It's Chris.
I know, man. I hear you. Hey, guys, sorry, I'm in BJ's. And anyway, thanks for taking the call. Thanks for being here. So to shout out two things.
Yeah.
One, professional video editor. Totally heard you when you said like forest in the trees, the hippo for the whatever. Like, been there so many times at 100%. Like, you just got to get perspective, no matter who you are, how expert you are in your field. So helpful to have perspective. Really quick question. Tech doesn't matter. Again, like I shoot a lot of stuff professionally on sometimes on iPhone. But I want to ask you about Google Meets versus Zoom. Kind of a dumb question, but I noticed a lot of people go Zoom and you went Google Meet. So is there like an adoption thing, or is it like you find people just like they're cool with Google because they have an account already, or what?
Yeah. That's a great question. Bon has a whole soapbox, so I won't let him talk about it right now. But what I will tell you is that Google Meet has advantages where Zoom has its disadvantages. Zoom is like you have more options with it. There's a lot of extra things you can do to customize it. And I try and stay, like, for example, we don't use GPT anymore. We use Gemini. And it's because we have the Google Workspace. So it just kind of is all included. And I've found that because most of the time I'm not trying to do anything fancy. I'm not having like sub rooms or this or that, the other thing. So Google works for what I'm doing. A Pinto is fine. I don't need a BMW.
Gotcha, man. I appreciate that. And thanks again for being here.
Yeah, dude, Chris, I love you, man. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to actually spending more time with you in particular. I really want to try and get in on something. So you tell me. You reach out to me or Bon. Let's connect at some point.
Will do, man. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Bon, did you have anything else you wanted to add in there before the last 3 minutes?
How many hours do we have? Nothing
Yeah,
that
that's
would
what I
be
thought.
reasonable to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. So he's a Google Meet guy. That's the short of it. So Tamzin, Is your question short enough to fit into 3 minutes? If so, go. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so my question was, let's say I do target market research on some people and find that all of them are teenagers who can't afford what I will be selling. So should I try to find different group of people who I can offer the same offer, or just drop that offer and look for a new offer?
Well, I mean, it sounds like a similar question to the last one, yes?
Yeah, you said to ask the same question to one, like, so like he left at that time.
Oh.
So I thought you.
Gotcha. Okay, so do you want me to answer it or do you want Bond to answer it?
Yeah, I wanted to Bond answer, but he was gone at the time. So
Okay. Bond, you want to take a swing at that one?
Yeah, can you repeat the question, either of you?
Yeah, he was saying that his current audience is teenagers who don't have money. So should he change the offer or should he try and find a new audience?
That's a really tough question.
no, I said that they turn out to be people who can't afford it. My audience isn't
Oh,
now.
okay. So people spend money no matter what. They spend it on something every single day. Almost people spend money. They want to spend money. They're spending money anywhere. What you want to do is focus and make sure that they want to spend it with you, because what you're doing is more valuable than everything else. That is the number one thing you will hear. Those aren't my words. That's just what I've learned. It is tricky though. It's a really challenging thing to do that. But there's so many products out there that people make money from. And I guess the one word that you really want to double down on for everything in business and offer or whatever is focus. And the more you can focus the offer and your audience, that is going to start to develop and nurture that growth of whatever it might turn out to. If for any reason it isn't working and you have focused, then I would change. And I would not be afraid to just immediately go into something else. Sometimes you just got to shift, just like when I made 2 major shifts. And here I am in Captivate, which turns out to be all of my other shifts combined. So, sometimes you just got to cut your losses, but make sure that it's something that you're more confident in. But I would always say, dive in on the deep end and just go for it as far as you can.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much for that, Bond. Tamzid, we have also tomorrow another mastermind, which if you want to take a nice long break at it, we can just do it together and try and give it something good. I'm sure Bond will be there again too, so we can both take a crack at it and try and get you that offer all set up and ready to go. All right. Well, hey, everybody, we hit our 8 o'clock mark. Please, if you have any questions, direct them to me or Bond. My calendar is crazy. So I do, if you want to talk to me, I want to talk to you. Just try and hit Angela. She's the community manager in there. So just fire it to her and she'll make sure that she gets you on the list somewhere so that we can make sure that we're connecting. But it was an absolute pleasure to sit here and chat with you guys and give you that ridiculous presentation. Don't judge me. My design skills are better than that, but I just like having fun. So, okay. I love you all. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.